Hey there, and welcome back to Lindsey's Little Library. So we are here today because it is Booklist Thursday, and Booklist Thursday is something I do with Sarah over at Sarah's Nightstand. We come to you every Thursday with some sort of book, thoughts, ideas, recommendations, something bookish related. So today is a really fun subject, and you're going to want to stick around to the end because we're switching things up slightly, and you're going to want to know about it. So today we're going to talk about good buddy reads. And so in honor of the Christmas holiday and one of our favorite movies, Elf, and it is Buddy the Elf, we thought let's kind of talk about buddy reading. So this is something I think I like to do, and I think I do well, and then I get into a buddy read, and sometimes it's great, and sometimes I am like not great at it. The last one I did, it was not good. But I do think buddy reads are really advantageous to people who maybe aren't in like a book club or are looking for a community or someone else to kind of read a book with and react with and discuss it with. And there's some really solid books that make better buddy read books than others. And so here's my list for you today. First one I want to talk about is more of a classic. Going back and reading a classic with someone else, I know it helps me get through it personally, and you can kind of have some really good discussions. So one I would recommend is Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. This one is, I want to say, from the 50s or 60s. I'm not sure. I should have looked that up. But follows a dystopian world of the future where fire has been mastered. So firefighters now are kind of part of this scheme where we control the society, controls what materials people are using to get information within their own homes. So basically firemen go to burn down homes that have books in them, where people are expected to get all their information through screens, basically, which is interesting, knowing the time it's written in and then knowing what we have now and how that correlates. So lots of good things to talk about there. The next book I want to talk about is actually one I just finished reading. It's called Thelobotomist Wife by Samantha something. I'll have it here. This one would have made a really great buddy read, and I think historical fiction in general makes a really good buddy read because you have this discussion not only of the books and the characters, but also that time period and that event that potentially took place around, to kind of talk about, where were you? Do you remember this? Did you learn about this? All of that talk as well. So The Lobotomist's Wife follows Ruth, and she is assistant supervisor at a basically a mental health hospital in the 1950s. Yes. So she is seeing that there's a need for us to be able to support people who either have come back from the war, not necessarily in the right headspace. This is kind of prior to us knowing more about PTSD. Her brother had actually suffered from that, and she's made it this mission to help people. She meets this very charming, wonderful man who she falls in love with, who is also has this goal of helping people. And his answer is found in the lobotomy. Now, if you know anything about the lobotomy, especially the frontal lobe lobotomy, it's something that was tried, was determined not great, and failed. And this is kind of that story of what happened, and this idea that something can be simple to fix that might be more complex than we think. And Ruth being not only an advocate herself for people who might need a little extra help, and there's a lot of the patients that they talk about were women that had the baby blues, which again we know a lot more about now. So kind of seeing that piece of history and what it looked like. The website for this author, she does a fantastic job of kind of outlining the timeline of what truly happened and then where she added in her story. She's done her research. I want to read more by her. Absolutely loved it, but this would make a really great discussion with a buddy. Next one I want to talk about is Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Honestly, anything by Andy Weir, but this one follows an astronaut who finds himself by himself in space, tasked with saving the Earth. So this sci-fi idea, yet written in a way that is very consumable and really enjoyable, and there's just a lot of things that happen in this book that would make this a really great buddy read. I know it is a bit of a bigger book, so sometimes I enjoy a buddy read will push me to read bigger books like this. Sometimes I need that aspect, that little, piece of accountability partner, I guess I could say. So this would be a really good opportunity for you to pick up a fairly bigger book and then read it with someone. But there's some really great emotions that this elicits in the reader, as we literally follow kind of just one person trying to survive and save Earth. So it was really great. I loved it. And there's some really good humor in that as well. Then I have a more contemporary book. This is Bodies to Die For by Lori Brand. And I like this book for a buddy read because of the kind of social issues of this body image extremes that this book portrays. So we have a fitness influencer, Gemma, who also does, what are they called? They're like pageants. Bodybuilding pageants. I couldn't think of that. And then we have a software engineer, Ashley, who is overweight and frustrated. So we kind of have both ends of the spectrum of someone being an overweight character and then a very, very fitness focused character. And there's a whole story that goes on. There's some dead bodies that happen, which of course makes it even more interesting. But then you have this social issue in the background of this, fat phobia, and then being too conscious about how you look to the point where it's really overtaking your life. It was a really good subject. I think that would be a great buddy read to chat about, especially between a couple of friends. Highly recommend this one as well. I really, really liked it. Liked it a lot more than I thought I would. And then the last one I want to talk about is Don't Discount Your Middle Grade Books. This is The Lost Year by Catherine Marsh, and this one, so great. It's also an award winner, which I think would be another great kind of theme to go with if you're going with a buddy read. So this one follows Matthew. He's 13. It's COVID. He's stuck at home, and his great grandmother is there to kind of ride out that pandemic together. Matthew finds her old black and white photo of her great grandmother's his great grandmother's belongings, and discovers a clue and a hidden chapter to her past. So he starts talking about it, and she starts opening up about how she grew up in the 1930s in Ukraine, while the USSR was basically responsible for a famine that happened in that country. And his great grandmother lived through that. So you get current day pandemic story and then her past story and what had happened. I thought it was really, really great. It's an interesting topic to talk about, both from pandemic and then also this piece of history that I don't think a lot of people know or realize happened. So highly recommend this one as well. It goes pretty quick, but would make a really great buddy read. And this would be a really great opportunity to buddy read with one of your children or a neighbor kid or your niece or nephew or something like that, and kind of have a bond over the same story. So those are my 5 buddy reads that I highly recommend for you guys to check out. Hopefully you've made it this far, because we have a really, really exciting announcement for you. We thought that in honor of our subject for this week, which is a buddy read, and Sarah being the ultimate pro buddy reader, in my opinion, we would host a Booklist Thursday buddy read for you guys and our little community. So we're going to host this in February. We will take the month of February to read the book. I'll show you that in a moment. And we will, we invite you to join our Facebook page. We just started this Facebook page for Booklist Thursday fans. I'm going to leave that linked below. I'm going to leave the book linked below. But we're going to use that Facebook page as our way to communicate and talk about the book. Sarah and I are going to go through some more details and share with you those details as far as what to expect and how it's going to run. We're going to put all of that on our Facebook page. So make sure you join that and stay plugged into that to see kind of how it's going to work if you're interested. So the book we're going to read for a buddy read in February is The Games Gods Play. This is by Abigail Owen. So this, I've been told, is Greek gods meets Hunger Games. So we have our main character who works this office clerk job, keeping her head down in San Francisco, kind of staying out of the limelight. And every 100 years, the gods have this game they play. And it's a contest to help determine the new ruler to sit on the throne of Olympus. and they pick a mortal to represent them in this to the death game. And for some reason, Hades, who is like never partaken in this competition before, picks our main character as the person, their mortal. And we go from there. So I'm excited. I think this book itself is just gorgeous. I cannot get enough of it. And like, come on, it's so pretty. And let's see, she'll fight for her life and the god of death. So I'm in it. I'm loving it. This is going to be our buddy read. I cannot wait to chat about this book with you. Again, link to the Facebook group is below. Join in with us. Watch for details within there as far as what we're going to be doing, how it's going to work. But it is the month of February, so make sure you get your hands on this book. You know, Christmas is coming soon. If you need to add another idea, it just might be this. I'm just saying. Otherwise, comment below if you're excited about this or if you have any other good buddy read recommendations. Like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.